Well, joining me now from Washington, D.C. is Ianthe Metzger, who's Director for State Media Campaigns at Planned Parenthood. And in Pennsylvania, we're joined by Joseph Cosgrave, a former judge for one of Pennsylvania's top courts. Thank you both very much for joining us tonight. Joseph, I wonder if I could start with you. People have described this as an earthquake. Can you talk us through just how extraordinary this leak is and what it might mean?
Well, thank you, Tessa. The court has never experienced a leak of a draft opinion like this. Sometimes a few hours, perhaps, before a court's decision is issued, there may be some reference or the press may pick up on that, but this is entirely different. This draft opinion apparently was written or circulated in February. The court has not denied its authenticity. So it seems that this is what was assigned to Justice Alito to write, and that it has the support of at least 4 other justices. The fact that it's out before a final opinion is extraordinary. And obviously, as you've seen, and as the press has reported, it set off a firestorm of discussion, both in legal circles as well as political and other circles. So on that point alone, it is unique.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what this actually means? They are interpreting the Constitution, are they not? They are not saying exactly what women can and can't do, is that correct?
Well, in overruling Roe, which again, it has not happened yet. The court may go through many machinations between now and the end of June when a final opinion is issued. But what the court says in this draft opinion is that Roe versus Wade and Casey, which is the decision 30 years ago that upheld Roe, are overruled, which means that the right to abortion under the 14th Amendment, under the Constitution, will be obliterated. And the decision on whether abortion is allowed or not allowed will be a decision made by the states on an individual basis, each state. So we will have a patchwork quilt of rights in some places and not rights in others.
We've seen protests already in Washington, D.C. overnight. This is an issue that divides America almost like no other, isn't it?
Well, we've been debating this now for 50 years, and the decisions of the court have consistently upheld the right to abortion, the right for a woman to terminate the pregnancy, and it was substantially reaffirmed in Casey. Now, there have been various adaptations to that. For example, the court has said a 24-hour waiting period is consistent with Roe. The gestational information has been consistent with Roe, but the fundamental right that was established in Roe has remained until, it seems, soon. This draft opinion spells the end of that, and a different way of approaching this issue will now become political as opposed to judicial and constitutional. And that's a dramatic change. The court has never retreated on a right that it has previously established. Controversial issue, but it has never done this.
OK, I should say now we're struggling to get hold of communications with Ianthe Metzger. We will try to keep talking to her, but I know she, as a pro-choice campaigner, is angry, is frightened. Some people have called this a worst nightmare scenario. Joe Biden has actually tweeted in the last hour. He says, if the court does overturn Roe, it will fall on our nation's elected officials to protect a woman's right to choose. He also says he would want to adopt legislation that codifies Roe, and he will work to pass and sign that into law. Has he got a chance of doing that, do you think?
Well, at least for now, the president has majorities in both the House and the Senate, bare majorities, but he has them. He's had a difficult time getting that majority of his own party to enact the legislation that he's proposed in some instances. He was successful on some, not successful on others. This is a dramatic a change in the law, if it in fact comes to be, and whether he can get his majority in the House and Senate to pass a national bill, that remains to be seen.
OK, I'm pleased to say we can hear from Ianthe now. We've got those communication links sorted. Can you just tell me your reaction to this?
Yes. Well, first, at Planned Parenthood, we're working to reassure patients that abortion is still legal and that as of today, it is still their constitutional right. But this is unprecedented, it's dangerous, and it's going to open the floodgates for states across the country to ban abortion. But this is not even the end goal of anti abortion activists. They want to pass a nationwide abortion ban and block access in every state in the country. And so, their playbook that they've been working from for the past 4 decades, this is a culmination of that, and we're doing everything we can to reassure patients to fight back because the majority of Americans do not support the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Who do you worry is going to be most affected by a potential ban?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be people who are already marginalized. It's going to be Black and Brown and Indigenous people. It's going to be people who have low incomes, who are disabled. Those are the folks who are going to have the hardest time getting this care because they already have the hardest time getting any access to healthcare. So we're looking out for them the most. We're working to make sure that they can still access their rights. But things are not looking good right now, that's for sure.
And there are restrictions that have been put in place since 1973, aren't there? I mean, what kind of trouble do women have getting abortions as it stands?
Yes, well, I mean, 24-hour waiting periods. Some states even have 72-hour waiting periods. That means that you have to make 2 trips to a health center. That means that you have to get childcare, take time off work twice to get to a health center. Some clinics have to endure mandatory ultrasounds, mandatory counseling that is meant to discourage you from getting an abortion, which further delays care and further pushes you later into your pregnancy, even though you've made a decision about what you want to do with that pregnancy. So there are a bunch of hurdles. I mean, just in terms of laws and regulations on clinics, they have caused many clinics to close down because of onerous restrictions that make it difficult for them to operate. So for years, they've been chipping away slowly at this right. And now with this leaked Supreme Court decision, it looks like they will put the final nail in the coffin and overturn Roe completely.
OK, well, there's certainly an ugly, fractious debate still to come. Thank you, Ianthe Metzger and Joseph Cosgrave, both from the United States.